Rush Limbaugh passed away from lung cancer this morning. Our condolences, of course, to his family on Ash Wednesday. The reaction, I'm going to get into it. It's kind of messy and depressing for me as a member of the press to see how far down the media has descended. Now, I did not know Rush Limbaugh very well. I met him once, a very short conversation with him. You may remember I competed directly against him for 7 years on the Radio Factor. But I understand his place in history. And I also understand when someone dies, you don't trash them. Interestingly enough, we have a producer from 60 Minutes, former producer, Mike Wallace's guy, who has got a book. We're going to talk about the media with him. So this kind of all folds in. We'll also analyze President Biden's town hall last night. Now, when the announcement was made about Rush Limbaugh, I tweeted this, quote, "The legacy of Rush Limbaugh is clear, the most successful radio broadcaster in history. Mr. Limbaugh provided a conservative balance against the dangerous left-wing corporate media machine. History counts few entertainers, and he did describe himself as that, among those who made a difference in the country. Rush Limbaugh did." More tonight on the No Spin News. So here we are analyzing Rush Limbaugh. So immediately he was trashed by the Huffington Post. I'm not going to read you any of it. It was just beyond vicious. That is partially owned by Verizon. And tomorrow we'll give you a little bit more information about the Verizon CEO, Verizon Media. This is what I mean when I say the corrupt corporate media. So these animals that work on the internet are paid by corporations. It's just, it doesn't matter whether you liked Rush Limbaugh or didn't like him or agreed or didn't agree. None of that matters. The man died. He has a family. All right? You can do your retrospective pieces 2 days from now or whatever. I mean, it's just beyond the pale in this country. It is. And that is a theme that we're going to hit hard tonight. So in the Associated Press, which is a left-wing organization now, Reuters, I thought, was going to pound Limbaugh. It did not. The Reuters news service didn't. It played it straight. But the Associated Press, I'll quote you a couple of things. All right, this is in the body of telling their readers that Rush Limbaugh passed away. Associated Press, quote, "He called Democrats and others on the left communists, wackos, feminazis, liberal extremists, faggots, and radicals," unquote. All right. You know, the guy was on the air for what, 40 years? And this is how you describe the body of his work. I'm not going to defend anybody who uses invective. I don't do that. I don't use it. But when you die, Associated Press, quote, "Limbaugh influenced the likes of Sean Hannity, Glenn Beck, Bill O'Reilly, and countless other conservative commentators who push the boundaries of what passes as acceptable public discourse." There you go. That's the Associated Press. The guy who wrote this is named Matt Sidensky. I don't know him, but I know the AP, and it hasn't been a straight news agency in 15 years, maybe more. Finally, Associated Press, what Limbaugh did was to bring a paranoia and really mean, nasty rhetoric and hyper-partisanship into the mainstream, said Martin Kaplan, a University of Southern California professor who is an expert on the intersection of politics and entertainment and a frequent critic of Limbaugh. Why would you interview a frequent critic of Limbaugh in his obit? Why? You want to do that? Do it 2 days from now. And then you balance it with somebody who felt that Limbaugh had a worthy message. That's how you do journalism. All right? That's how you do it. So summing up, I did not know Rush Limbaugh. I understand why he was successful. Conservative traditional Americans are bombarded with messaging from the corporate media that they are bad people. And Rush Limbaugh stuck up for the conservative traditional side. All right. As far as influence on me, he had none. I'm a television guy. I did the radio factor. It was an extension of the O'Reilly factor on the Fox News channel. Man who did influence me is Mike Wallace. And as I said, his former producer is coming up. All right. Now, we're going to have more tomorrow on Mr. Limbaugh. I'm going to monitor what happens on TV tonight. And all I ask is civil behavior. That's all I'm asking for here.